Hey, what's up? This is Marcus from Machine City Audio. So I'm pretty excited because today I get to talk to you guys about the monster compressor from LoopTrotter Audio Engineering, which is a tube compressor with 2 kinds of saturation, and it really sounds great. Now, one of the things I want to point out right out the gate is the customer service that I received from LoopTrotter Audio, and they were very responsive. They answered all the questions that I presented to them, but they also allowed me to send in some of my audio. They sent it back, and I was able to hear what the monster compressor could do, and that pretty much sealed the deal for me. Alright, so this isn't a pay review, this isn't a sponsored video. They didn't ask me to do this review. I'm doing it because I think it's a cool piece of gear and I want you guys to hear it. Alright, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. We're going to get into the features of the compressor, and we're going to hear it on the mix bus, some drums, some bass, and some other examples. Alright, stick around. Alright, so as we take a closer look at the controls of the monster, you have at the very top, you have your limiter compressor switch. Next to that, you have your attack. And then underneath that, you have your release. Now, underneath the attack and release, you also have your input. And this does not have a threshold knob, so the input is going to control how much compression you get. And at the very top, again, we have your bypass switch, and this is just to bypass the compression. Now, the output that you have on here is to control. This particular output is to control how hard you're going to hit the saturation, and I'll show you that in the video as well. Alright, so next to that, we have the controls for the saturation for both stages, and then you have a saturation knob to control the overall saturation. Now, I also want to point out that every one of the actual knobs are stepped, with the exception of the saturation knob. This isn't. Alright, so underneath the saturation knob, you have your mix knob. And then next to that, you have your main output knob, and this is going to control the overall output. All right, so next to that, we have the link and dual button. And if you have it linked, you can use this like on your stereo bus or stereo drums. And then when you have it in dual, you can use each side separately. So if you want to put the bass on the right side or the left side, and then you can put like vocals or something on the right side. All right, you have your power switch, and then you have a true bypass. This is going to bypass the whole unit, you know, the compressor and the actual saturation as well. One thing I really like about this compressor is that you have bypass options for every stage of processing. So you could truly hear what's happening with each stage, you know, from the compression to both stages of the saturation. Now, one of my concerns with this compressor was the fact that it didn't have a high pass filter built into it. So I was a little concerned with that, but being able to have the actual mix knob, you know, everything is good. And you do have connections on the back where you can plug in and you can use the sidechain filter externally. All right, so let's get into some examples.